soft noise, or with a TV on. Sports traffic and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 7:04.
Remember mixtapes?
I was more of an 8-track guy myself.
You know, the new Marshfield 7000 Sofa at Penny Mustard reminds me of the world's greatest mixtape.
We have taken the latest and greatest components of every configurable sofa and mixed them all together into one.
It's kind of like a greatest hits album, except you can sit on it.
The Marshfield 7000 Sofa, starting at just $89 a month with no interest till July of 2027. Through July 6th at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Hey, Wisconsin, it's construction season, and the Wisconsin DOT wants to help you safely navigate work zones in your area. Check 511wi.gov or download the free 511 app to see current road work, closures, detours, and camera views on your route. Wherever your travels take you, know before you go with 511wi.gov. That's 511wi.gov. And remember, know before you go. Always park the phone while driving. Sponsored by the Wisconsin DOT.
WTMJ's John Mercure here for Annex Wealth Management. If you have big questions about inflation, money, and your retirement goals, join me Tuesday, July 15th with your questions as I co-host an Instant Insight webinar with Annex Wealth Management's Chief Economist, Brian Jacobson. It's July 15th at 9 a.m. It's free, but you must register. Go to WTMJ.com, click the Instant Insight Register Now button, or check out events at AnnexWealth.com. Tuesday, July 15th, 9 a.m. It's free, but you need to register.
The next time you're due for service, visit richlands.com to schedule an appointment at any of our 5 conveniently located facilities.
All AAA approved and all staffed by ASE certified technicians ready to serve you.
Richlands. Are you tired of being tired? Go to adventknows.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The Brewers lost to the Mets yesterday 2-3. They play again tonight against the Miami Marlins at 6:10. Taking a look at your roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We're seeing a crash blocking 2 left lanes on Wisconsin 175 South near State Street. Other than that, several disabled vehicles, but no major incidents and no major delays. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Today, morning rain and storms, then hot and humid, high of 88 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, hot, humid, breezy with a chance of storms at night, high of 93. Sunday, scattered showers and storms, high of 83 degrees. Monday, mostly cloudy, high of 78. Tuesday, partly cloudy, pop-up storms, high of 83 degrees. Right now in Madison, it's 71. In Green Bay, it's 69. In Waukesha, it's 72. And in Milwaukee, it's 73 degrees. I'm Elizabeth Linton, and Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 7:07.
This is Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News with Adam Roberts.
More or less, it is a long weekend with the holiday. I know most people probably had off technically starting yesterday, and we will talk about some happenings in the Milwaukee area yesterday. I've got some thoughts on that. It is Wisconsin's long weekend morning news. I am Adam Roberts in for Vincent Eric, who will be back on Monday with Wisconsin's morning news on a full week next week. It is Independence Day, the 4th of July here as we come up on 7:08 this 4th of July Friday morning. And if you're just waking up right now, starting to get your plans ready, and you're anywhere in Milwaukee County, you're looking out the window, and there it is, the rain that we said was going to be on the way. It's looking like we're going to have a wet start and a sticky hot end to things today. And for more on this, we'll bring in over from Storm Team 4 meteorologist Brendan Johnson. Brendan, we talked yesterday on Wisconsin's Midday News, kind of previewing a little bit of what we were expecting today. And at least so far this morning, looks like things are panning out kind of how we expected.
Yeah, those showers, thunderstorms coming into play well before sunrise, Adam, and the bulk of the rain now passing the Milwaukee metro area. I'd say heaviest rain right now from Racine down towards Kenosha and near the state line. We've had some really heavy downpours embedded with this. I got a report in from I believe it's the northwest side of Waukesha. almost an inch worth of rain in just a half hour.
Wow.
So that's how much is coming down in a short amount of time. The good news is that this is a very progressive line of storms. And it's also weakening. But yeah, we knew we were going to start off wet today. The good news is, as you mentioned, it's going to dry out, but it is going to get pretty warm and sticky later on today.
And as I'm looking at the radar right now, Brennan, just to confirm, we've got this bulk right now. Behind it, looks like everything's pretty dry, right?
Yeah, there are a couple of showers, rumbles of thunder across north central Wisconsin. Expecting that to remain there or even weaken here as we roll through the rest of this morning. But this rain out of here within the next couple of hours. I would say we're drying out by 10 a.m. at the earliest and midday for really any lingering showers. The one thing we'll keep an eye on is that lake breeze. As everybody knows, it's July, it's warm, it's humid. The lake breeze can pop an isolated shower, rumble of thunder, but I think for the vast majority of us, we're staying dry for the rest of today.
Now, something else we're going to be keeping an eye on, Brendan, is the air quality. We have an air quality alert that goes into effect in just under an hour. This kind of came up unexpected for me. It's for all of our lakefront counties from Ozaukee and Point South. What are we expecting from this?
Yeah, so near the lakefront, if you get into that lake breeze, so that marine cooler layer, what can wind up happening is we get some ozone that gets stuck close to the surface, which can lower the air quality. And the Wisconsin DNR, in close partnership with the National Weather Service, issued that air quality alert for lakefront counties. So really, in the eastern half of these counties, there could be a few spots where we get some higher concentrations of ozone, and then we see that air quality dip to the unhealthy for sensitive groups category. So if we get to that level, if you've got any sort of respiratory concern, be it asthma, COPD, really anything that makes it difficult to be out in those conditions for long periods of time. You just want to be aware of that and then pull it indoors as best you can here as we roll through this afternoon.
So, Brennan, I have to ask, it's going to be kind of a looping theme throughout our program here today for the next couple of hours. Were you able last night to check out any of the Milwaukee County drone show, which has now replaced the July 3rd fireworks display?
Gotcha. So I'd seen all the videos and the photos of it. It looked pretty cool. I thought I saw a photo of the boat, the famous boat. It lives on. But no, I had to do the midday shift yesterday and then immediately shift to the morning side this morning. So did not get a chance to go out and see the drone show in person, but it looked amazing from all of the videos and photos that I saw.
So I can confirm I was over by McKinley Marina, and I'll have more on this coming up later on this hour, but I can say we were all kind of positioned, the group I was in, there were about 100, 200 of us on, if you know that Brady Street pedestrian bridge that goes over Lincoln Memorial, we were all sitting on that little hill that's over by that plot of grass thinking, okay, we'll be able to see them as they rise. And then as the show began, there's a big tree that's right on the water line, and we all realized that the tree was blocking the view. So there was this mad rush down the hill as we all ran through the parking lot like, oh, we got to find a better spot to view this. So that was frustrating, but also kind of funny.
Okay, yeah, a little bit of a bummer, I would say, yeah. Because I know that you're trying to cram in so many people, to McKinley Beach. And to fit, several thousand people, that's a tall order there. But, yeah, there's all that grassy area, even across Memorial Drive. But yeah, the viewing, that's the most important part. So I can understand the mad rush to try and find that view. Yeah.
I would imagine, though, I was not able to get down to the beach, but if you're right under it, I'm sure it's a bit better. Hey, Brendan, before we let you go, on the back half of the rain today, we alluded to the fact that it is going to be a sticky one. I'm looking at the extended 5-day. Looks like about upper 80s today with that humidity, which is pretty atypical, or pretty typical rather, for early July around this holiday. What's the rest of the weekend look like in terms of temps and humidity?
Yeah, so we'll get up to around 92 tomorrow in Milwaukee. Could see some mid-90s farther inland. Our heat index likely in the mid to upper 90s with that humidity, with the dew points being in the upper 60s to near 70s. So the heat persists tomorrow, but then we've got this cold front that drops in from the northwest late tomorrow night and into Sunday. So we've got some scattered showers and thunderstorms on the way. We'll hold on to some lingering rain on Sunday, mostly cloudy but cooler, down to 82. And then really nice on Monday. The sun shines back, up upper 70s at the lakefront, low 80s farther inland. It still will be humid, but hey, at least the temperatures are a bit lower. And then we bring back that sunshine for Tuesday. A slight chance of an afternoon or evening pop-up storm. The humidity is still here, and we're back into the lower 80s. We really do get into more of a quiet pattern towards the middle of the week, but as you, Adam, and everybody knows, it's July in Wisconsin. It is warm. It is humid. We certainly could pop up an isolated shower, rumble of thunder in the heat of the afternoon, or certainly along the lake breeze. And that's pretty much going to be the story for much of the week ahead.
Real quick, Brendan, do you have any plans for the holiday today? You're going to be out at Summerfest at all?
Yeah, I've got a barbecue with some of my neighbors here a little bit later on this afternoon. I got to head home after work and put together a couple of side dishes for it. I think we're grilling ribs this afternoon. So,
that sounds awesome.
Looking forward to that. But no Summerfest, and then we're right back into the morning show tomorrow. So, got to work on this holiday weekend, but you know what? Not too bad. The weather's kind of quiet, so I don't mind it at all.
Awesome. Thanks, Brendan. Over from Storm Team 4, Brendan Johnson. Thanks, ma'am.
Yep, thank you. Take care.
Coming up now on 7:15 on Wisconsin's Morning News, I'm Adam Roberts in for Vince and Eric. Hey, coming up, we alluded to it in that conversation we just had with Brendan. I do have thoughts on the July 3rd Milwaukee County Drone Show as an observer of the festivities down on the lakefront. And I know from both people I talked to at the show and the chatter I was seeing on the TV channels that were streaming the event, people had some thoughts about the drone show experience from last night. So we'll get into that a little bit later on this hour. We've also got a check of your sports. We'll recap all of the events happening across southeast Wisconsin today on this Independence Day, because once this rain moves through, we should be able to get some of the afternoon and evening show programming on. All that and more coming up on Wisconsin's Morning News today. It is 7:15. We'll have sports next.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Summer savings don't get any better than Colder's 4th of July weekend sale. From June 20th to July 7th, shop Colder's. Unbeatable deals store-wide and save thousands on your next home upgrade. At Colder's, they guarantee that you're getting the best deal in town, but during their 4th of July weekend sale, you can stack your discounts for even more savings. Save 60% on furniture and mattresses. Take an additional 10% off. Wow, that's a great deal. I've just shopped at Colder's. Great service, great showrooms. You're going to love it. Plus, you can save on appliances, too. Take an additional 5% off on top appliance deals you won't find anywhere else. Colder's has a huge selection of kitchen and laundry appliances from all your favorite brands, and you're guaranteed to get the best price only at Colder's. There are 4 Colder's locations: West Dallas, Oak Creek, Delafield, and Grafton. Hurry on in or shop online at Colders.com. Don't miss out on their 4th of July weekend sale going on from June 20th to July 7th.
Get more for your money at Colders.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. It's the best time of year in Wisconsin. It is summer, and it is on big time. We've got you covered. Still looking for some ways to fill in a couple of weekend days, maybe a quick vacation, a romantic getaway, or time with the family fun in Wisconsin. We've got you covered. It's Experience Wisconsin, Saturdays at 1 o'clock. This Saturday, it's Ishnala, the iconic supper club, and Ann Sayers, the travel secretary, talking beach getaways. Experience Wisconsin, Saturdays at 1 on 620 WTMJ.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Well, it looked initially like we might see another rainout Thursday in the Big Apple, with the Brewers and Mets getting delayed 37 minutes at Citi Field due to weather issues, but the teams were able to complete their 3-game series and avoid that second washout. Ultimately, though, the Mets reminding the crew why, despite a recent downturn for the Metropolitans, they're still a team to contend with in the NL this year.
2-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. The ball game's over. Mets win it 3-2 here tonight at Citi Field. They take the series 2-1.
Lane Grindle with the call. You can kind of hear in his voice there, yeah, we lost, but that is going to happen. It's a long season, and we're certainly in the dog days of the MLB campaign. Jose Quintana on the mound would largely hold it together for the Brewers up until that 6th inning, giving up a pair of runs. Manager Pat Murphy still impressed with his pitcher's effort.
He was great. It's the best outing I've seen him have probably since I was on the other side of the field.
Brewers NL East road trip shifting to the Sunshine State today, a 4th of July tilt with the suddenly surging Miami Marlins. Keep an eye on the Fish. Despite their 39-46 record so far this year, winners of 9 of their last 10 games. So they're getting pretty hot, and as the Mets have kind of had that slide, possibly a pounce time for the Fish. Coverage begins at 5 this evening with Brewers warm-up and our own Dominic Cotroneo right here on your home of the Brewers, WTMJ. And it is the 4th of July, which means an event annually on Coney Island makes its return today. That would be the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. And if you saw the competition last year, a notable face was missing from the lineup, but he makes his return today.
I give you the #1 ranked eater in the world, Joey Chestnut!
Not hyperbole at all to suggest that Joey Hot Dogs himself makes his return today to the contest on Coney Island. He missed 2024 due to a contract dispute. He had a brand partnership with Impossible Dogs, a plant-based brand. Kind of doesn't jive with the whole Nathan's situation. Chestnut's last performance saw the 16-time dog champ down 67 hot dogs in 10 minutes. He did an interview Thursday with ESPN's Jeremy Shep. Says one of his biggest competitors now isn't on the stage with him. It's Father Time.
This is my first time competing in my 40s on Coney Island. And the 40s are not fun.
Try the 50s.
Oh, 50. You might as well die.
All right, maybe a little hyperbolic from Joey Hot Dogs. Coverage of the competition, by the way, if you want to check it out, that starts around 9:45 our time on ESPN. With the women's competition, if you're looking for a betting favorite, by the way, in the opener, Miki Sudo, likely the favorite again after she crushed the competition in 2024. And then the men's competition kicks off about an hour later. 10 minutes, how many dogs can Joey eat? We certainly shall see. 17-time champion. There's John Cena, and maybe after today,
I give you the #1 ranked eater in the world, Joey Chestnut!
7:21 on WTMJ. Hey, coming up next, I want your thoughts on the County Drone Show last night. There were thousands of you out there on the lakefront, so I know you have your thoughts and you have probably varying opinions on the matter. I want to hear from you on our talk and text line, 855-616-1620, our WTMJ talk and text line. I'll have some shots from the night last night. I'll share my thoughts, and we'll hear what you have to say coming up next.
There's an amazing supper club in Wisconsin Dells, Ish Nala, nestled among the pines and perched above the sandstone bluffs of Mirror Lake. The beauty, the history, the service, the food, the fun. Hi, this is Bob Prosser, owner of Ish Nala Supper Club in Wisconsin Dells. I've been a part of Ish Nala since 1973, and I am so proud to continue the tradition that began in 1953. Why not enjoy a brandy old-fashioned in one of our bars, each with a spectacular view overlooking Mirror Lake, or just relax before or after dinner on one of our outdoor decks. Our Ish Nala chefs have prepared your favorites: 24-ounce ribeye, cold water lobster tails, North Atlantic salmon, and of course, Ish Nala's roast duck. Thank you for making Ish Nala Wisconsin's favorite supper club, where the only thing we overlook is Mirror Lake. I'm Bob Prosser, and I want to serve you.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
Get started with your no-hassle refi checkup by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com.
Hey, WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here, reminding you to subscribe to the Wisconsin's Morning News Podcast. We update it every day with every interview, every segment, every bit we do on the show.
Wait, we don't do bits on the show.
You are the cream to fill my cream box.
I hope they like each other.
Boat race.
The sun and the moon and the earth have become one, and so have we.
All right, maybe we do some bits.
Be sure you subscribe to the Wisconsin's Morning News Podcast, presented by Tri-County Contracting.
Crosslake on the floor. 25 or 6 to
right, Chicago tonight on the BMO Bank Pavilion on a 4th of July Summerfest Friday night. 9:30 headliners at the BMO Pavilion tonight. I hope they play Saturday in the park because it is the 4th of July, quite literally, although you got that Friday-Saturday duality, which may have to be covered. But Chicago, one of my mother's favorite bands. I think she might make the trip down tonight. BMO Bank Pavilion, 9:30 on the Summerfest stage. We'll have some more details about how you can get in for free, by the way, later this afternoon on a Summerfest Friday. All right, it is 7:24 on Wisconsin's Morning News, and I want to hear from you at 855-616-1620 because we had a drone show last night replacing the annual July 3rd Milwaukee County fireworks display. Right now, if you text WATCH to that talk and text line, 855-616-1620, you'll see some of the images I was able to capture. So I was over by the McKinley Marina area, as I mentioned to Brendan Johnson earlier. And so I had a decent vantage point to capture some of the drone show images. Now, we'll do a compliment sandwich here, and I'll start with some positives. The back half of the show genuinely had some really cool stuff. I wasn't able to capture it on video, but they had the Calatrava, the art museum, doing sort of a 360 spin, and the wings of the museum were opening and closing at the same time, which looked genuinely awesome. And also, as you see on the stream we've got right now, yes, the boat made a cameo appearance, which I do find very amusing that the county is the entity putting on this drone show, and the boat obviously was a big thorn in the county's side, so a little tongue-in-cheek reference there. And there were some other Milwaukee references throughout the show as well. You had the Brewers, there was a racing sausage, you had the skyline, etc. So there were some cool moments in this drone show. Now the bad, and there was some bad. You heard me mention earlier the sightline issues. We all had to kind of rush down that hill by Lincoln Memorial Drive to kind of get a better vantage point. But honestly, for me, that wasn't the biggest issue of the evening. It was kind of twofold. The first problem I have with it, while I understand the necessity, were the ads in the show. And there were displays made by these drones that took the shape of whether it was Northwestern Mutual, Bank of America, I think the Brewers Community Foundation got a spot in there. And then, of course, the presenting sponsor of the show, Michael Hupy, had his name drawn in cursive drones not once but twice during the performance. And I think the tenor I was seeing from people was pretty common of ads in my 4th of July, 3rd of July show display is a little bit off-putting. Now, the county was able to save money doing this show over the July 3rd fireworks display, which typically costs about $370,000. I think the drone show was about $200K that they doled out. So there is a financial element to this. That being said, I mean, I don't think it's crazy to say that ads in my show are kind of off-putting. And then the second issue I had with it kind of was a little slow to ramp up in terms of excitement factor. That was what I was hearing from a lot of people around me. And I'm like, okay, when are we going to start to see something that we've never seen before? And then in the back half, you had some of those more dynamic displays. So while I will end that compliment sandwich with the idea that it's early, this is the first time they've ever done something of this magnitude on the lakefront. It takes time for these things to develop. Other cities have had drone shows for many, many years, and they've developed over time. And I think, considering that this is likely the path forward for the county, I just don't think they're going to go back to the fireworks display, given the financial situation the park system is in. They're going to want to keep saving money so they can better operate the park system. So it will get better over time, and I think they will take the criticism that they're definitely going to receive from the public on this, per the comments I saw on a lot of the TV networks that were streaming it on YouTube. They will take the criticism, they'll make changes, and it will ultimately get better. I just thought personally it was a little bit of a miss. It was a little bit of a miss for those who were more familiar with the fireworks display, and just objectively, it was a little bit boring, especially at the beginning. However, the back half, if you want to go back and watch any of the networks that were streaming and want to watch the VOD on YouTube, there is some cool stuff in the back half, especially that Calatrava display. So path forward could be good, though I will say if you paid $20 to park and then saw the front half of that, you're probably wondering if you could get your money back. By the way, good promo for being able to bike to the event, which I was able to do. It is 7:28 on Wisconsin's Morning News. We'll talk a little bit more about this later on in the show. We got news coming up with Liz, and then we'll have more on Wisconsin's Morning News after this.
Save on the best quality furniture and mattresses during the July Independence Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture. With major discounts from our premier suppliers, you will save big on top brands like Bradington Young, made in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Bradington Young is known for its fine quality leather upholstery. Fjords brings you modern Scandinavian design recliners and sofas, ergonomically engineered for more hip and back support. Norwalk, with American roots that go back over 100 years, specializes in making furniture just for you. Choose the piece, style, fabric, or leather you want, and in just 35 days, we'll deliver your new sofa, chair, or sectional. In-stock or special orders are all sale priced. Need a little help putting it all together? At Ken Michaels Furniture, our design staff is ready to help you with your purchases, and it's free. Stop in today and save now during the Independence Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture on Capitol Drive in Brookfield, Highway 100 in Greenfield, or our downtown Mattress Factory showroom.
Happy 4th of July from the Amazing Mine Shaft Family Restaurant in Hartford. WTMJ's John Mercure here. Celebrate America at the Mine Shaft. They're open today at 10:30 a.m. on the 4th of July, so don't turn on your oven. Enjoy a super affordable lunch or dinner at the All-American Mine Shaft Restaurant. The Friday all-you-can-eat haddock fish fry is just $7.99, and it's a great fish fry. Desserts are buy one, get one free. Enjoy a huge 18-inch pizza, a pitcher of beer or soda, and 100 game room tokens to the world-class game room for under $45. The pizza easily feeds a family of 4, and your kids will love that world-class game room set away from the dining area. Celebrate the 4th today in the cool and comfortable Mine Shaft Restaurant with your $7.99 all-you-can-eat haddock fish fry kids menu from $3.99. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and just off the interstate in Oshkosh. Walk in today. Celebrate America. MineShaftRestaurant.com. Check out the Mine Shaft.
We could live beside the ocean, leave the fire behind, swim out past the breaker, watch the world die.
Now there's a band for my generation. We've got Everclear at the Briggs & Stratton Big Backyard. That's a 6 o'clock show for you at Summerfest today. I can guarantee you when they play Father of Mine, you're going to be able to hear it no matter where you are on the grounds. It's 7:31, Wisconsin's Morning News. Elizabeth Lintonen joins us from the newsroom. And Liz, we obviously had a pretty serious situation yesterday that started in Shorewood and then went to several other areas, ultimately ending in tragedy near 6th and Reservoir in Milwaukee. What do we know this morning?
Yeah, thanks, Adam. We have one confirmed death in the Shorewood shooting overnight on Wednesday. 34-year-old Victoria Truss was killed near her home on the corner of Bartlett Avenue and Olive Street. We also have another unknown man who passed away at that scene on Reservoir and 6. The cause of death for Truss has been ruled a homicide. 2 others were injured in that shooting, including a Shorewood police officer who has been released from the hospital, and that investigation is ongoing. As part of the new biennial budget, Wisconsin will be providing some funding to Milwaukee for the construction of a new municipal building. Milwaukee County received around $38 million to help with the overhauling of the county courthouse and the municipal building, as well as supporting the sheriff's office state mandate highway patrol needs. The county has initially proposed that $250 million could be donated by the state for the new municipal building, but the governor's office instead recommended $25 million. The design phase of the new courthouse complex began late last year and is expected to be finalized in 2028. And Milwaukee police need help finding another shooting suspect. The suspect is wanted for a June 26 hearing near 20th and Capitol. He allegedly fired shots, striking several people before fleeing on foot. Police describe him as an African-American man, roughly 5'10", with a thin build. He wears black framed glasses and has medium-length dreadlocks. He was armed with a handgun. Anyone with information is asked to contact Milwaukee police. Visit WTMJ.com for details and photos. Taking a look at your roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic, we're looking at the right shoulder blocked in a couple places on I-94 heading westbound, but other than that, despite the weather, no major incidents and no major delays. Friday. Today morning, rain and storms, then hot and humid, high of 88 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, hot, humid, breezy. Chance of storms at night, high of 93. Sunday, scattered showers and storms, high of 83 degrees. Monday, mostly sunny, high of 78. Tuesday, partly cloudy, pop-up storms, high of 83 degrees. Right now in Green Bay, it's 70 degrees. In Waukesha, it's 73. And in Milwaukee, it's 70 degrees. I'm Elizabeth Linton in Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 7:33.
Coming up, it's free to get in. No, seriously, we'll have that next.
Experience, knowledge, results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
It's Gina Della. You've heard me define what makes Pella Windows and Doors different. Let me introduce you to the woman behind the billboards, commercials, and share my extraordinary journey of resilience, reinvention, and shattering glass ceilings every Saturday morning at 6:30 on 620 WTMJ and anywhere you stream podcasts for What's the Difference with Gina Della to discuss business coaching across all industries, featuring successful executives, entrepreneurs, and mentors along the way. This is a story you won't want to miss.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community. From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news, online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
The biggest gig in the world has finally returned. Summerfest is here, and WTMJ will be broadcasting live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio, right on the lakefront. Come by, say hi, meet your favorite WTMJ hosts. It's WTMJ at Summerfest all fest long. We are Wisconsin's radio station, WTMJ.
If you're at the Miller Lite Oasis today at Summerfest around 1 o'clock, you might hear this local Milwaukee outfit, Diet Light, playing the stage around 1 this afternoon. Isaac Marquardt producing for me today, and you have a pretty close connection with this group, don't you?
Yeah, I went to college with these guys.
That's about as close as it gets around here.
Yeah, we were in all the same, music industry classes. I saw one of their first shows at the UW Oshkosh Battle of the Bands, where they almost got kicked off stage for covering The Who's My Generation, but the live version that invented the explicit lyric in song. So I go way back with that band.
Did you have that sense with them as you were coming of age with them that they had that extra juice? They have really grown into quite a local favorite around here.
Oh yeah, their live show is a wild one that they definitely, they have. It's that live spark that really kind of takes them over the top to me.
1 o'clock, Miller Lite Oasis. Always great when we have local outfits performing at Summerfest. We were talking with VP of Entertainment Scott Zeal yesterday on Wisconsin's Midday News about what goes into making a lot of those decisions. And despite however many changes that the big gig or whatever we call it now, Summerfest, it has over the years, always keeping a little bit of local touch is super important. Now, speaking of Summerfest, if your 4th of July plans include a stop at the Henry Meyer Festival Park today, some things you should be aware of. It is free admission day once again at Summerfest thanks to Quick Trip. That's from noon to 6 today. It's free on the 4th. All patrons will be admitted free. And if you get out there early, the first 5,000 people through the mid-gate at the grounds get a commemorative can cooler, or is it can koozie? I don't know. People seem to have different ways to pronounce the thing that you get that keeps the beer can cold while you're walking around Festival Park. So that's from noon to 6 today. First 5,000 people get the can cooler, and from noon to 6 you get in for free. And then if you're planning for tomorrow, July 5th, we got another free entrance admission day. All patrons from noon to 3 admitted free. That's thanks to Potawatomi Casino Hotel and Summerfest. Also, if you're looking for more giveaway type things, the first 30,000 through the gates, and that's gates plural, get an admission ticket for next year's Summerfest, as well as a big win entry ticket. So that is the first 30,000 tomorrow, and then noon to 6 today is free to get in, with those first 5,000 getting the can cooler. That's thanks to Quick Trip. And if you're looking for the acts to follow for tonight, we of course have Milwaukee's own Diet Light on the Miller Lite Oasis at 1. Our headliner at the American Family Insurance Amphitheater tonight is Bad Omens. I think they were performing at Rockfest later this year in Cadott. That's in northwest Wisconsin. So big Wisconsin summer tour season for Bad Omens. They're the headliner at the amphitheater. That's a 7:30 show open tonight. Of course, we've also heard from Chicago, 25 or 624, Saturday in the Park. Great classic get for the fest. That is at the BMO Bank Pavilion, 9:30 tonight. Fountains of Wayne also tonight. Social Distortion. We heard from Everclear. Porter Robinson, if you're of the younger generation, that is another one of those people who came up kind of in the music production industry, if you're not familiar, then had a huge hit online, and it's really transformed his career. And so if you ask anyone younger than maybe say the age of 23, they probably know who Porter Robinson is, and they'll be at that show tonight. A busy Independence Day Friday at Summerfest. Of course, it is weekend number 3, the final weekend of the festival, and then tomorrow it wraps all up at Henry Meyer Festival Park. It's 7:40 on Wisconsin's Morning News. We'll have more after this.
When people think sleep apnea, they think CPAP. Now at Advent, we do all we can to help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine. And most sleep apnea sufferers who come to Advent are going to be able to avoid a CPAP altogether. Our unique Advent approach using simple in-office solutions can get your nose working and throat open all under one roof. You see, the root of every snoring and obstructive sleep apnea problem lies within the throat, nose, or both. At Advent, we know when we get the nose and throat working properly, most snoring and sleep apnea problems will subside. And we have the most simple and convenient, ultra-effective in-office solutions that can do just that. And this is why people have traveled by planes, trains, and automobiles from corners of the world you would never think of to find the sleep apnea and snoring relief you won't find elsewhere.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted. Make your next family trip one for the history books at Old World, Wisconsin. Set against the natural beauty of the Kettle Moraine State Forest, you'll enter a one-of-a-kind place where the modern world fades away. Explore authentically restored homes, farms, stores, and workshops representing more than a century of Wisconsin history. Meet heritage farm animals, visit a one-room schoolhouse, lend a hand in the blacksmith shop, ride a high-wheel bicycle, and so much more. Travel through time and the stories of America's heartland. Get your tickets at oldworldwisconsin.wisconsinhistory.org.
That's the headliner tonight at the AmFam Insurance Amphitheater. Bad Omens, a 7:30 show open tonight. I mentioned that they're going to be at Rockfest later this year up in northwest Wisconsin. So if you missed them tonight, you'll have a chance to see them in the Badger State later this summer. And speaking of music, coming up this weekend, Libby Collins back in with you on Sunday morning for the actual Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News. We're kind of have some fun with the name of the show today, but she will be back on Sunday for both that show as well as WTMJ Conversations. And since we're in the mood of Summerfest and music, it's apt for the conversations we have this week. So here's the question we're asking. What does a performer do when music tastes change and the record stops selling? It's a tale as old as time in music. Change is one of the only guarantees in the industry. The guitarist for the Buckinghams, Carl Giammarese, telling WTMJ's Libby Collins how his career continued to thrive with music that you may have actually heard.
What were some of the jingles you did?
Oh, gosh. I did so many. From, say, 1976 till about 81. I sang lead on some of the beer commercials, RC Cola, a lot of McDonald's. You deserve a break today at McDonald's,
That was
Big Mac, filet of fish, quarter pounder French fries, icy Coke, sticks, shakes, sundaes, and apple pies. And then the jingle was da-da-da-da-da-da. You deserve a break today at McDonald's. That was me, and it was a very lucrative business.
Yeah, going over how much a jingle writer can make, it looks like the average is about between 60 and 70K a year. And when you're talking music industry, 60, 70,000 a year, that's nothing to shy away from. Buckingham's had 5, by the way, top 40 hits in a single year. They were dubbed the most listened to band in America by Billboard around the time of their highest popularity. They also appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show, which of course was known for their pretty big musical gets. Just ask a group of mop-headed boys from Liverpool about that. If you want to hear more of the conversation with guitarist from the Buckinghams, Carl Giammarisi, you can listen to WTMJ Conversations this Sunday morning at 11 with Libby Collins. It's 7:44 on WTMJ. We got sports up next.
Fleet Farm is the place to fuel up, earn rewards, and save every day. Fleet Rewards credit card holders can earn 5% back in rewards on qualifying purchases made with a Fleet Rewards credit card, including 5% back on fuel at our Fleet Farm gas marts. While you're there, fill up on a hot dog, popcorn, and 20-ounce drink, all for just $1.99 at participating locations. Stop in and start earning more with Fleet Rewards at Fleet Farm. Subject to credit approval. See a team member for details.
Buying a new roof might not be the most exciting thing you'll do this year, but for us at Big Fish Contracting, being chosen to do that roof for you not only provides income for multiple families in southeastern Wisconsin, but has a global reach and impact around the world. To us, it's more than just a roof. We've been earning trust for over 2 decades, roofing, siding, windows, and more. Go to bigfishcontracting.com to learn how Big Fish is renovating homes and redeeming an industry.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. In the Big Apple on Thursday, 2 Brewers had a pretty good day. One of them was Andrew Monasterio.
And on the ground towards second, tough play, Monasterio sliding with a backhand, picks it, pops up, throws out Nimmo. Andrew Monasterio doing his best Bryce Terang impersonation.
Josh Maurer with the call there. Drew also recording the Brewers' lone home run of the day.
1-1, 2 out, the pitch. Hit deep to left field, not going to be caught by Nimmo. It's going back to the fence, and it's going to get up and out of here for Andrew.
Monasterio finding Nimmo multiple times during the game. Hannah had Nimmo's number, but few other Brewers showing up at the plate. That home run, one of 6 Brewers hits and one of just 2 runs total in a 3-2 loss to the Mets on Thursday. Despite the loss, the other player with a decent outing, pitcher Jose Quintana. Solid effort going until the 6th inning when he surrendered the decisive 2 runs. Manager Pat Murphy.
He was great. It's the best outing I've seen him have probably since I was on the other side of the field.
Brewers continuing their NL East road trip tonight. They make the long flight down the coast of the Sunshine State. They got a 4th of July tilt with the Miami Marlins, winners of 9 of their last 10. 3rd place in the NL East right now. Mets and Phillies seem to have that on lock, but don't sleep on Miami. Again, you win 9 out of your last 10. You're certainly showing signs of contention. We are, of course, very early still in the season. We're not even to the All-Star game yet. By the way, our coverage for you of Brewers Marlins begins at 5 with our Dominic Catronio on Brewers warm-up right here on WTMJ. And people keep asking Joey Chestnut if he is back in the Nathan's hot dog eating contest today. And before now, he hadn't really had an answer. But now, yeah.
I'm thinking I'm back.
Joey Hot Dogs makes his triumphant return to Coney Island today. This after a 1-year hiatus due to a contract dispute over his brand partnership with Impossible Dogs, which is a plant-based competitor to Nathan's. In an interview with ESPN's Jeremy Schaap, Chestnut sharing what motivates him after winning 16 titles.
At first, it was purely just competition. And I still love the competition. I love beating the heck out of people. And now it's, dude, it's more about like making other people happy, and they want to see me make a record, and it's like that motivates me. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be pushing for a record.
I will readily admit I've never fully understood the obsession with eating contests, but it is something quite marvelous to watch when Joey's pounding 6 dozen plus hot dogs in the span of 10 minutes. No one else has seemingly been able to do it like him, and I say this as a person who, when Joey was here, I believe it was, I want to say it was either last year or 2023, for a Qdoba burrito eating contest. I tried to eat a burrito as fast as I could. Did it in under a minute. I don't think I could do another burrito in under 2 minutes. If you are interested and want to see Joey Dogs go for his 17th title today, Competition begins around 9:45 for the women's division. Miki Sudo, our betting favorite here in-house after winning in 2024. Then the men's competition kicking off about an hour or so after that. We'll see if Joey can make it 17 titles on the stand at Coney Island. It's 7:48 on WTMJ. We'll have a check of your weather as we're watching the rain continue to move through this morning. And, of course, the tale as old as time, just how many people are on the roads for this 4th of July weekend, and will it set a record? Spoiler alert, yes. That's next.
Want to stay up to date with the crew?
It's a baker's dozen for Jackson, his 13th of the season. 6-0 Milwaukee.
Tune in to Brewers Extra Innings with Dominic Cotroneo after every game.
The thought that Churio and Yelich are clicking near the same time is what makes you really excited for the rest of this offense, that there's still room for it to keep getting better.
Or listen anytime on the Brewers All Access podcast feed. We are your home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Steve and Ashley heard our radio ads over the years, and when it came time to buy their first home, they clicked on the blue button. We sent them a credit-verified pre-approval the same day and upgraded to a rock-solid, fully verified and guaranteed pre-approval shortly thereafter. We also let them know about AccuNet's property-specific pre-approval, where we might be able to include those magic words, no appraisal required. When they wrote their next offer, several $1,000s over asking to make sure someone else didn't end up sleeping in their dream home, their property-specific rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval did include that most powerful phrase, no appraisal required, and the sellers picked Steve and Ashley's offer over several others. If you think all mortgage lenders and pre-approvals are the same, think again. Go with the local mortgage lender that has the tools and know-how to help you win. We'll also likely save you $1,000 to $3,000 in closing costs for exactly the same rate as your bank. Whether you're looking to buy or refi, click on the blue button today at ACCUNET.com.
The 4th of July sale is on at Steinhafels. Save 10% store-wide. Get a Sealy mattress any size for just $199 and take an extra $100 off every $999 you spend. Shop now, in-store or online at Steinhafels.com.
Hey, Wisconsin, it's construction season, and the Wisconsin DOT wants to help you safely navigate work zones in your area. Check 511wi.gov or download the free 511 app to see current road work, closures, detours, and camera views on your route. Wherever your travels take you, know before you go with 511wi.gov. That's 511wi.gov. And remember, know before you go. Always park the phone while driving. Sponsored by the Wisconsin DOT.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Geez, it is a Friday for millennials at Summerfest today. That's Fountains of Wayne. You know Stacy's mom, and you also know the song. Briggs & Stratton, Big Backyard. That is a 10 o'clock show tonight, a bit of a late one for Fountains of Wayne. We already have Everclear that's mentioned, Porter Robinson playing, Social Distortion, and then Bad Omens, your headliner tonight at the American Family Insurance Amphitheater. So if you were born between 1983 and 1996, like I was, this is the evening for you to check out Summerfest. It is, of course, the 4th of July weekend, and that means, stop me if you've heard this before,
AAA says a record number of Americans, more than 72 million, will travel for the 4th of July holiday.
Yep, we've talked a lot about it on various shows here on WTMJ. We all are kind of in the same mode of agreement. They're just making numbers up. They're just pick a number between 65 and, say, 73 million, spin it on a big ticking wheel, and whatever it lands on, that's what we're going to say is the number from AAA. But yes, travel records will likely be shattered again this 4th of July holiday. And with the record high numbers on the road comes some record lows at the pump. I'll have more on that in a moment. I do want to say I feel bad for CBS's Jim Krasula, who you heard at the start just now. It seems like he was told by the network filing for vacation time that, hey, I want to go visit family outside of New York. I want to take a road trip back. And they said, well, if you're going to do that, you got to file some reports from the road for us, which I believe is what appears to have happened.
I'm Jim Crisula along Interstate 40 in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I'm Jim Crisula along Interstate 77 in Lambsburg, Virginia.
So did they tell him anytime you fill up with gas, just grab a voice recorder, do a rap, maybe talk to someone in the parking lot about what they're doing, and then just move along? Because again, it kind of feels like is what happened here. But Jim, what about those records?
More than 72 million Americans will fly or drive somewhere to celebrate the 4th of July holiday. Mallory is heading to the mountains of South Carolina.
Renting a cabin with friends. This year we've got a pool. So I think we're going to spend a lot of time by the pool.
AAA says average 4th of July gas prices are the lowest they've been for the holiday in 4 years. Jim Crisula, CBS News, Lambsburg, Virginia.
We'll have more from Jim Crisula in Lexington, Kentucky, and then Cairo, Illinois, and then Little Rock, Arkansas, and wherever else he's traveling to. Thank you very much, Jim. By the way, on those gas prices, if you're heading out in Wisconsin today, average price for a gallon of unleaded in the state, $2.95, which is pretty good comparatively across the nation. That's more than 20 cents below the national average. I did notice it is slightly more expensive the further west you go in Wisconsin, which of course bodes well for me on my trip to the La Crosse area later this afternoon. But yeah, $2.95, not too bad for holiday gas prices in the state of Wisconsin. And if you are hitting the roads this morning, just keep an eye on the forecast, especially if you're heading from Milwaukee and Point south. Still, for about another hour or two, we're going to have this rain that really came down heavy over Milwaukee about, I'd say, like an hour or so ago. It's still falling right now. Should be out of here per Storm Team 4 meteorologist Brendan Johnson in the next couple of hours. And then things get hot and sticky for your 4th of July afternoon. A high of 87 today. You'll feel the humidity whether you're at Summerfest, at a cookout, watching some of the various 4th of July fireworks shows that are happening across southeast Wisconsin. We'll have a rundown of those coming up later on in the show. 72 for your low tonight. That is a summer evening. And then 92 for your Saturday. Afternoon storms possible. 82 with rain and storms possible on Sunday, and then a bit cooler as we start the work week. 7:55 on Wisconsin's Morning News. Before we get to break, wanted to run this story back. A really interesting piece from our Vince Vitrano here at WTMJ, who recently was inside a local manufacturer who sells products globally on a day when area high schoolers were also touring this plant in Waukesha County. It's called Century Equipment, and there's a lot to be learned from Vince in his tour of the facility about the future of manufacturing in the U.S.
We're on a guided tour through Century for them to showcase what they do and how they do it, and for us to learn about that industry.
That's Jackson Reno, senior at Oconomowoc High School, wants to study aerospace engineering.
A lot of the parts here, they say they custom fabricate, and so they need engineers to build the parts, and so that's kind of the role that I'd be playing into it.
And to tell us if the part is
interesting company, Century Equipment.
What you're looking at here is a single line sample panel that's really catered and designed for the power generation industry.
Century doesn't make stuff we use. They make stuff that they sell to companies that make stuff we use. Rich Gaffney, Vice President, Commercial Operations.
This matters to me at the consumer level. How? So if the power plant isn't operating correctly or efficiently, your lights don't go on, or you don't get to stream your Wi-Fi shows, that's a problem. Okay, now we're talking. Now we're talking. Yep, exactly. You got my interest. Yeah. Later on in this, we're going to talk about flushing the toilet. That would be even a bigger issue.
We're opening our doors to our vendors, business partners, as well as students. So we want to showcase not only our capabilities, but manufacturing in general.
Marquise Warren is VP of Manufacturing. He's taken me around the manufacturing floor.
And that is what melts the metal.
Where machinists, welders, designers are putting on a show and tell.
There's a stigma that manufacturers dirty, you're working with older equipment, old technology, and that's just not the case anymore. So we want to expose manufacturing to as many people as possible.
The days of cranking widgets or a guy who does one repetitive task, that's not what modern day manufacturing is.
Absolutely not. If we have something that we're going to do repetitively, we're going to automate it.
Automation, long thought to be a job killer. At Century, they view it as a job creator.
Going to be robotics, engineering is going to be a big one, but also the trades. One of the things we've done recently is we partner with a program called GPS, and GPS allows students to get real trade experience on the shop floor while they're still in school.
If it doesn't go, the hole is correct. This pin does go, that hole
And it's attracting and training students like Jackson.
It doesn't seem like they got to cut people out of their workplace to use these robots.
Oh, and somebody's got to make the robots.
Yeah,
somebody's got to operate the robots.
Someone's got to write the code. Someone's got to make sure that it doesn't mess up. And I don't think it's taking jobs away. I think it's just kind of repurposing their jobs.
Here in our Pipeworks machine is kind of unique.
Jobs to make things right here in Wisconsin that the world may not notice, but we experience every day.
If you turn on your light switches at home, we've touched your life in some way.
Vince Vitrano, WTMJ News.
Good stuff from Vince Vitrano there. Yeah, always important to think about as we bring jobs back to the U.S. that had been overseas. It's good, of course, for the economy, but you got to have people that are doing the work. And good to see the next generation of manufacturers getting some good insight in Waukesha County. It's 7:59 on WTMJ. Got your top of the hour news next.
You'll find that the licensed and certified electricians from Quality are top-notch. We've been around for over 60 years, so expect nothing but the best. And here's the kicker. With over 60 vehicles out there on the roads, you're not going to have to wait very long at all for the electrical service you need now. This is Anthony Zanevsky. For all your residential electrical needs, call Quality.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. Over 60 years in business, with over 60 vehicles out in the field so we can respond ultra quickly to your emergency AC needs. When you call Quality for emergency AC service, you can count on a swift response to get the job done right away. So if the heat's got you to the point where it's just too hot to handle, call Quality and we'll get you the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric.
Dan, what are you doing?
Taking a closet for a test drive.
A test drive?
Here at Inspired Closets, we have our own cutting-edge immersive design experience.
That's right. Envisioned by Inspired Closets uses AR technology that's sort of like test driving a car.
Virtually walk into your custom closet at scale before anything is even built.
You can even make changes in real time, so your environment will adapt to any design revisions you make in that moment.
Get started today at InspiredClosetsMilwaukee.com.
Inspired Closets, a wife and husband team.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Maybe Miami's got the flash, but we brought the bang.
This is well struck. Back at the track, and it's gone!
It's the Brewers and the Marlins in South Beach. Our Brewers Marlins game day coverage starts tonight at 5 with Brewers warm-up on the home of the Brewers. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 8 o'clock, it's 70 degrees. Today, morning rain and storms, then hot and humid, high of 88 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, hot, humid, breezy with a chance of showers at night, high of 93. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Elizabeth Lintonen. President Trump is expected to sign his mega bill into law at the White House this afternoon. Trump touted the major victory at a rally last night in Iowa. ABC's Perry Russom has more on that.
Calling the recently passed Big Beautiful Bill a July 4th gift to the country.
There could be no better birthday present for America than the phenomenal victory we achieved just hours ago.
The president saying the bill follows through on many of his campaign promises.
The people gave us a historic mandate to cut taxes, raise take-home pay.
The bill includes roughly $4 trillion in tax cuts. Nonpartisan groups say those cuts disproportionately help the wealthy.
The massive legislation squawked through the House with just 2 Republicans refusing to drop their opposition. One death confirmed in the Shorewood shooting overnight on Wednesday. 34-year-old Victoria Truss was killed near her home on the corner of Bartlett Avenue and Olive Street. The cause of death has been ruled a homicide. 2 others were injured, including a Shorewood police officer who's been released from the hospital. The investigation is ongoing. As that other officer is shot on Thursday, local leaders are calling for members of the community to stand up against gun violence. Greater Milwaukee Committee President Joel Brennan tells Wisconsin's Midday News that responsibility falls on everyone.
Everybody's willing to roll up their sleeves and figure out something about what comes next. I think that's where I'm heartened, and I think that's what, it's a community problem. It's not a MPD problem. It's not the mayor. It's not just a handful of people. It's everybody, neighborhood by neighborhood, person by person, that's got to step up and do their part.
Brennan encourages members of the community to thank police officers for their service. Many thought the biennial Wisconsin state budget would not be passed in time, but Governor Tony Evers signed it Friday morning. TMJ chief political reporter Charles Benson tells Wisconsin's Afternoon News what made this year's budget so different from years past.
They use a word that we don't hear often, bipartisan. Right. Compromise. Democrats and Republicans got together on this, and in the Senate, they needed the Republican or the Democrats to get it across the finish line. So this is what you have when you have divided government.
Benson says Governor Evers signing the state budget 1 hour after it was approved in the state capitol helped save millions of dollars in Medicaid aid before Congress voted in the Big Beautiful Bill Act that eliminated funding. A Waupun man charged with animal cruelty has died. 55-year-old Richard Van Buren was accused of hanging a stray golden retriever with a leash. He was charged with 1 count of mistreatment of animals, a felony that carries a maximum sentence of 3.5 years in prison. He served as chairman of the Chestertown Board. According to his obituary, Van Buren died Tuesday due to complications during surgery. The case will most likely be dismissed. One of the busiest weekends of the year for the Milwaukee beaches and parks brings heavy foot traffic and trash.
That's why Milwaukee County Parks is asking for volunteers to help clean up after Independence Day celebrations.
The morning after the July 3rd drone show and the morning after the fireworks shows that happens throughout the county.
Milwaukee County Parks Engagement Manager Tony Guerin.
Despite our staff being under-resourced, they do an incredible job of maintaining our parks, but this is the one time of year where we ask for help from the public.
Volunteers can meet at McKinley Beach Friday morning and a dozen county parks Saturday morning. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Visit WTMJ.com for more details and to sign up. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 8:04.
Tickets on sale now for EAA AirVenture Oshkosh. Get your tickets at EAA.org/tickets today and get ready for an unforgettable week, July 21st through the 27th. Experience all the only in Oshkosh moments with a full week of endless possibilities, daily air shows, world-class performers, historic aircraft displays, and a variety of hands-on activities for every age. Youth 18 and under get in free, thanks in part to the Boeing Company. Don't wait. Get your tickets today. EAA.org/tickets.
Junior Achievement of Wisconsin has had business technology from James Imaging Systems for several years. Lori Salzman, Vice President of Enterprise Services, explains why.
We started with the document imaging, and I have to say that the service and support has been fantastic.
James Imaging Systems, a 100% Wisconsin-owned and managed business technology company.
I've never met an organization that is so responsive to make sure that we are up and running all the time for us to be more efficient and allow us to focus more on the work that we do for helping young people.
Lori, what's your recommendation to others that aren't getting that kind of attention from their business technology company?
Please call James Imaging because they will work with you to make sure that you find a solution that can make you more efficient and productive.
Make the call, 262-781-7700, or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
Woo! Hey, this is Ben Brust from Kyle Brust and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin. People can't stop screaming about the Screamin' Sicilian frozen pizza, and no wonder. There's plenty to scream about, like the buttery stone-fired crust, secret recipe tomato sauce, mounds of whole milk mozzarella, and tons of premium toppings. Find Screamin' Sicilian in your local grocer's freezer and find out for yourself why Sporked called Screamin' Sicilian's Holy Pepperoni frozen pizza the best of the best. Screamin' Sicilian, taste what all the screamin' is about.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The Brewers lost to the Mets yesterday 2-3. They play the Marlins today at 6:10. Taking a look at your roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. I was seeing a couple of crashes earlier on I-94, but it looks like they've been cleared up, so I'm going to go no major incidents, no major delays. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Today, morning rain and storms, then hot and humid, high of 88 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, hot, humid, breezy, chance of storms at night, high of 93. Sunday, scattered showers and storms, high of 83 degrees. Monday, mostly sunny, high of 78. Tuesday, partly cloudy, pop-up storms, high of 83 degrees. Right now in Madison, it is 71. In Green Bay, it is 73. In Waukesha, it is 72. And in Milwaukee, it's 70 degrees. I'm Elizabeth Linton in Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 8:07.
This is Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News with Adam Roberts.
Long weekend edition of Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News on your 4th of July Friday. A bit of a soggy one. If you're waking up this morning and hearing some rumbles of thunder, you're not crazy. It is raining and storming out. The good news is, looks like the biggest round of our rain is moving out of the area. Should be out of here pretty quickly. Then the rest of your day going to be hot and sticky, but dry with highs in the upper 80s and a bit humid today. Elizabeth Linton in from our newsroom is in with me this morning on Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News. Liz, you were telling me earlier this morning before we went on the air with the show that you're a big fan of the 4th of July. What is it about Independence Day that really hits it for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of the perfect storm of things for me that makes a good holiday. I like how low key it is as far as like having to see extended family. It's much more about like friends. I love summer weather. I love celebrating summer weather. So getting to sit outside and sit in the sun. And I always go to the beach with my family and we grill out. And I'm a big fan of a hot dog. So I think that it's kind of the perfect storm of things for me.
Yeah, you and I both. I love to grill just in general. And this is basically the Super Bowl of grill days. There's usually a haze. I'm in River West. And so down by Reservoir Park, there's sort of a haze that lingers because you've got the grills. And then you also have people running around with Roman candles and bottle rockets shooting fireworks off. Is it bad in your neighborhood too? Because last night after the drone show, people were firing things off till about 1 a.m. for me.
Yeah, so I'm on the Lower East Side, and I would say that it's pretty intense with people firing off fireworks and stuff. I normally spend the 4th out at my parents' house in Muskego, and out in Muskego, it's crazy.
Sure.
The fireworks start as the second it gets dark, and you hear them until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. So I think that that's pretty on par for me too.
What do you have planned for the 4th today?
Well, we're gonna head out to a beach out in the Kettle Moraine area. We're going to go sit at the lake and grill out, and it'll be, we do this every year. It's kind of like our family tradition with my parents and, some of my extended family, just like my aunt and uncle, a couple cousins, stuff like that. And then we're going to head back to my parents' house, have a little party, have some walking tacos, which were hotly debated in the newsroom yesterday.
I heard that conversation.
Yeah, we love them. And then my dad lights off some fireworks, and he's got a permit this year, and he's a big fan of, my brother's in the fire department, so we're big fans of lighting off fireworks in the backyard, so I'm excited for that.
Awesome. Thanks, Liz.
Yeah.
So if you do have no plans for the 4th and you're looking for some things to do, there's plenty of options for you across southeast Wisconsin. We, of course, had the drone show last night at McKinley Beach, but if you missed it, or if you were proudly protesting the drone show and want your fireworks, you will get plenty of them today. All across the city of Milwaukee, both sanctioned and unsanctioned fireworks shows will be happening. A lot of city parks have fireworks displays planned for today, including Humboldt Park, Gordon Park, Jackson Park, Lake Park on the east side, and Lincoln Park, Mitchell, Noyes, Washington, and Wilson, as well as Alcott. All have some sort of fireworks display planned across the city. We also have 4th of July parades, of course, across many communities. Big one in Franklin, a 4-day long Independence Day celebration. They've got fireworks tonight at 9:30. Cudahy, Glendale, Greendale, all with displays. And speaking of Greendale, our own Vince Vitrano would be remiss if I did not mention that at 8:45, so about a half hour from now, rain or shine, I've been told, they do the annual reading aloud of the Declaration of Independence. Everyone gets to go up to the microphone, read a section of the document signed on July 4th, 1776, which, by the way, that document did also make a cameo in the drone show last night. We'll have more on that later this hour. But that's going down at 8:45. If you're looking for events to do outside of the Milwaukee County area, check your local municipality for the time of their parade and their fireworks shows. Interesting event that we used to go to in Sheboygan, and I'll be honest, I don't know if they do this anymore, but they used to do on the 4th of July the recycled boat regatta, where they would make these cardboard boats and then race them over by where Blue Harbor is towards Lake Michigan. And when I say race, I mean they tried to run the boats and eventually they fall apart. But that's part of the fun. You'd sit along the waterfront and watch these creatively crafted cardboard boats floating, or lack thereof, on the water in Sheboygan. I will be honest, I don't remember if they do this anymore. If anyone in Sheboygan has the answer for me, text it in on the WTMJ Talk and Text line, 855-616-1620. I just remember that was such a unique event, I'd be curious to know if they still do that on the 4th in Sheboygan. But like I said, if you are unsure of what's going on in your community, check your local municipality's website or their social media pages. They should have everything for you there. And if you want to check out all of the events going on in Southeast Wisconsin, we've got a list for you at WTMJ.com. It's 8:13 on Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News, Wisconsin's Morning News, whatever you want to call it. It's WTMJ. We've got sports up next.
Hey, WTMJ's John Rourke here for CertaPro Painters. They painted the exterior of our house. I loved it because they're thorough and they're thoughtful. As a matter of fact, they pointed out some wood that might need to eventually be replaced. They just looked at the whole house, and I felt like they absolutely cared. Get on CertaPro's calendar right now. The summer sales discount goes through July 31st. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C for your home or business. They'll do it the right way the first time. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. It's CertaPro Painters.
Escape the city and relax at Lake Lawn Resort in beautiful Delavan, Wisconsin. Enjoy outdoor activities on Delavan Lake, tee off at the Lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course, or unwind at the award-winning Caladora Spa. With both indoor and outdoor pools, there's fun for the whole family. Take a cruise on the Lake Lawn Queen, explore stunning shores and historic landmarks, and enjoy delicious food and drinks on board. Book your stay today at LakeLawnResort.com, where everything is better at the lake.
What if you could lose up to 1 pound of fat every single day? At Milwaukee Weight Loss, they've got the secret, and it's helping people shed serious weight fast. Hey, it's Steve Scavini from WTMJ. I've been on the Milwaukee Weight Loss program since January and currently in the maintenance phase after losing, get this, 40 pounds. It was fast, easy, and safe, and I'm sticking with the incredible team at Milwaukee Weight Loss to keep the weight off. Their doctor-developed, easy-to-follow program helps people lose weight naturally and safely with no drugs, no risky injections, no meal kits, no shakes, no exercise required. It's not just about losing weight. It's about resetting your metabolism to keep it off for good with personal coaching every step of the way. And guess what? Their program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in just a month or two, up to 1 pound of fat a day. Book your free consultation now at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com or call 262-449-1180. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. It looked initially, at least, like we may see another rainout in the Big Apple Thursday. Despite the 37-minute delay in action at Citi Field as the rain came down, Brewers and Mets were able to complete their 3-game series, avoiding a second washout. But ultimately, the Mets reminding the crew why, despite a recent downturn, they are still a team to contend with in the NL this year.
2-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. The ball game's over. Mets win it 3-2 here tonight at Citi Field. They take the series 2-1.
Lane Grindle with the call. Jose Quintana on the mound would largely hold it together for the crew until the 6th inning, giving up a pair of runs. Manager Pat Murphy still impressed with his effort.
He was great. It's the best outing I've seen him have probably since I was on the other side of the field.
Brewers NL East road trip shifts tonight to the Sunshine State. They've got a 4th of July tilt with the surging Miami Marlins sitting 3rd in the NL East right now behind the Mets and the Phillies, but winners of 9 of their last 10, bumping themselves up to a 39-46 record. We'll have coverage for you starting at 5 with our own Dominic Cotroneo on Brewers warm-up before network coverage starts at 5:35 right here on your home of the Brewers, WTMJ. President Donald Trump traveling the nation. He's in Iowa getting ready to sign that big, beautiful spending bill, he's called it, later today. Now, if you're asking, Adam, why are you mentioning President Trump in the sports update? Well, some interesting comments made in Iowa during that tour for the president yesterday, saying he's thinking of staging a UFC match on White House grounds. This would be next year in celebration of the 250th birthday of the United States. The president, of course, has made a lot of plans and a lot of promises for what 2026 4th of July will look like across the country. First big, we like to do the zeros and the 10s and the 50s for anniversaries, pretty much for everything, but a pretty big 4th of July celebration coming up next year. The president, of course, very tight with UFC CEO Dana White. And so they are saying they want to do this on the grounds of the White House. They would have up to 20,000 spectators. They'll have to work around those giant flagpoles that the president's put up around the White House, too. A lot of them, if you haven't seen it. And speaking of 4th of July sports, Pretty much everybody knows about the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. It happens every 4th of July morning on Coney Island in the Big Apple. And this year, 2 years in the making, a return.
I give you the #1 ranked eater in the world, Joey Chestnut.
Joey Dogman himself makes his return today to the contest. He missed 2024 due to a contract dispute. He's a 16-time champion, which sounds like something a professional wrestler would say. But it is true for Chestnut, and his last performance saw him hit the record 76 dogs in 10 minutes. I see you, Isaac, working over there. Chestnut, by the way, says one of his biggest competitors is not anyone who's going to be on the stage with him today. It's ultimately Father Time.
This is my first time competing in my 40s on Coney Island. And the 40s are not fun.
Try the 50s.
Oh, 50. You might as well die.
All right, well, we got to keep you around for the competition, Joey. You got to set another record. That's what everyone wants to see. Can he go for 80 dogs? It always gets a little bit higher every time he competes. I remember when it was, get 5 dozen, hit 60. Now you got to hit 70. 80's the new threshold for Joey to hit. Men will take the stage about, I think, around 11 o'clock local time here central. Coverage is on ESPN. The whole competition gets started around 9:45 our time with the women's bracket. Miki Sudo, a likely favorite after winning the contest in 2024. It's 8:19 on WTMJ. All right, I want your opinion again here on the WTMJ Talk and Text line. We're going to review the drone show from last night. I've got some thoughts on it. I know you do too. 855-616-1620. It was a hot topic of conversation after the show late yesterday. I know I had a show coming up this morning, but I had to see it in person to see what it looked like. I'll share my thoughts next.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here. Are you wondering if you've saved enough to retire? Maybe you're not sure when the right time is to retire. Well, here's what you do. You don't leave it to guesswork. Get a plan. Since 2002, Drake & Associates has been guiding good people to make great decisions about their retirement. Their team helps people just like you to create a roadmap to retirement, offering comprehensive, holistic planning through their exclusive retirement roadmap. And right now, they're giving away a complimentary retirement toolkit. It includes Tony Drake's book, Get Retirement Ready, and 5 essential guides covering every key piece of your retirement plan. Don't wait. Call or text Drake, D-R-A-K-E, to 414-400-4692 to claim your free copy today. That's Drake to 414-400-4692 and secure your retirement future now.
Drake & Associates, LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates, LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
Get ready to head south, crew, because it's time to go deep sea fishing. The Brewers head to Miami to take on the Marlins.
3-1. And a fly ball down the left field line. Back at the track. It is gone. Joey Ortiz. Big fly for a grand slam in New York.
Our Brewers coverage starts tonight at 5 with Brewers Warm-Up. We are the home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
Enjoy the Fox & Hounds restaurant's fabulous all-you-can-eat fish fry. It's one of the best. The magnificent Sunday brunch is also all-you-can-eat. Kids and grandkids under 3 eat free. Call and reserve foxandhoundsrestaurant.com.
The voice there doesn't belong to Porter Robinson, but he is taking the stage. That's his song Shelter. Generac Power Stage 9:30 show tonight. I said before, good night for millennials and Gen Zers to check out some talent. We've got Bad Omens headlining at the American Family Insurance Amphitheater, Fountains of Wayne, Everclear. You got Porter there, Social Distortion as well. And if you're of an older generation and want to take in one of the classic summer bands, Chicago, who has played Summerfest a couple of times before, and I say a couple loosely. They're sure they played a lot, but they're on the BMO Bank Pavilion tonight at 9:30, Chicago at Summerfest. It's weekend 3, of course, the final weekend of the 3-weekend format this year at Henry Meyer Festival Park. Real quick, got a few tips in from our Sheboygan quadrant of WTMJ fans on our talk and text line. They did confirm the cardboard boat race does not happen anymore. It's actually been a couple of years now, although they did do a Venetian boat parade down on the river last night. So boats still a part of Sheboygan 4th of July celebrations, just not the cardboard boat race I had mentioned. Now, a little bit closer here to Milwaukee, we did have our July 3rd celebration last night. We had the drone show this year. We did not, of course, have a show at all last year as the county was not able to find a sponsor to help them pay for the fireworks display. And it was really interesting, before we get into the drone show, to hear that conversation. It really reminds you just how many people loved the fireworks show at Veterans Park, whether you were a camp outer the night before or just rolled up night of to watch the show. A lot of people have a lot of thoughts about the July 3rd display. And it was interesting to see how much money that ultimately cost the county. $370,000 was roughly their estimate for what it takes to put on a fireworks show. So in an effort to save some money this year and still put on a performance, because you don't want to have 2 years of nothing on July 3rd, the county ultimately going with their drone show at McKinley Beach last night. Now, if you text WATCH to 855-616-1620, I'll have Isaac throw up some of our images I captured from around the marina area last night. And first of all, I will say, a lot of local nods. We got the Bronze Fawns up there right now. The Milwaukee Skyline made an appearance. And yes, Deep Thought, the boat, had a cameo towards the back end of the show. And I still find it so interesting that the county, who was lambasted for 7 months about their inability to move that thing off of the lakefront and do it quickly, still added that little wink, nudge, nudge, nod in the drone show last night, with Deep Thought making a cameo appearance. The show ultimately went off in 3 waves of drones because batteries don't last 45 minutes in these specialty drones, so you got to go in waves. And so we had sort of 3 distinct themes. We had the first third of the show was American themes. The second third of the show was a little bit more Milwaukee-centric, and then you had their version of a grand finale. You had the Statue of Liberty, you had a big American eagle waving its wings, and then ultimately ending with a drone reading of Happy 4th of July. And in a little twist of irony, that last bit of the 4th of July display had drones lighting up fake fireworks as part of the display, which is a bit interesting when you think about what was not being shown instead. Now, couple of thoughts. I know people were hot on this. If you've got your opinions, share them with me. 855-616-1620. I'd love to hear from you. Personally, as a viewer of the show, I had 3 main concerns, one of which was not that big of a deal. The other 2, which I think do need to be improved when the show returns for next year. The first issue was sightlines, and I think it was known that if you weren't immediately on the beachfront and you were going to be watching the show from pretty much anywhere else, it was going to be hard to see the drones. They don't go as high in the air as fireworks do. They have to be closer to the ground for safety reasons and other reasons. So it was going to be harder to view it the further away you were from the beach. And that was a common thread I saw amongst people who were anywhere other than McKinley. If you were on, let's say, the bridge over Lincoln Memorial by Brady Street, which is where I was, you had to move at the start of the show because the sightline was not the greatest, and we had to find a better spot to watch. I know in my neighborhood, a lot of people go to Kilbourne Park every year and would watch the fireworks from that beautiful hill with the view of the city skyline, and they could not see the show. By the time I got back to the park, pretty much it had cleared out. Definitely not the case in years past. But we knew that that was going to be an issue, so that's not the biggest deal for me. My biggest problem with the show easily was the insertion of ads. There were displays featuring Northwestern Mutual, Bank of America, Kellner Company. I believe the Brewers Community Foundation also had an ad display, as well as the presenting sponsor, Michael Hupy. While I understand that that was part of the package that was pitched to potential partners for the event, we'll put your name for thousands of people to see up in the sky. I understand that that's the pitch and you got to make the cash somehow to do this. But it's off-putting, is it not, to see ads in the sky for what is supposed to be just a casual night out for friends and family watching a show on the lakefront. It was off-putting. It genuinely was. If you want to do that I know Villa Terrace a little while ago had a smaller drone show for their anniversary celebration. If you want to tailor some of that stuff for a smaller event, okay, that's fine. But with such a large show and such a big crowd, it was genuinely off-putting to have a good chunk of the front half of the show featuring ads for the partners. I wish they just could have found another way to incorporate the partners for the show into the events rather than the show itself. And then my other complaint was that the beginning of the show, genuinely, in my opinion, was a little bit slow. I was expecting most of it to be more dynamic displays like we saw at the back half when the Calatrava at the Art Museum opened its wings and was tilting like a globe. It was genuinely cool to see. But the front half was kind of just, oh, there's a pair of flip-flops and they're in the sky. Oh, there's 3 popsicles. Yep. George Washington, and he's smiling. Okay. But we come to these shows to be oohed and odd. And the front half, I think, was a little bit lacking on that. Now, I will say it's the first year they're doing this. So there's a lot of improvements that are going to be made. The first time for anything is always a little clunky, and we saw a little bit of that last night. It will get better. And I say will because rest assured the county is bringing this drone show back. It's not going to go away. I don't believe they're going to go back to fireworks. The monetary reasons alone, I think, are enough evidence of that. But it will get better. I just think the first year was a little bit of a miss. I do think there was a little bit of overreaction by some people commenting on the TV networks that were streaming it. I don't think it was a made-for-TV event. You know, in sports, we say there are some sports you have to see in person. Like hockey is a really good example. Hockey is not a good TV sport. It's a live event. I think this was more of a thing that you had to see in person if you were watching it on a stream or on TV. I don't know. It just wasn't going to be as good of an experience as it could have been. So room to improve, definitely. They'll take the criticism in stride, and I'm confident 2026 will be a bit better. But a little bit of a soft open for the Milwaukee County Drone Show, but that's just my opinion. It's 8:29 on Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News. Got your bottom of the hour news next.
There's an amazing supper club in Wisconsin Dells, Ish Nala. Nestled among the pines and perched above the sandstone bluffs of Mirror Lake. The beauty, the history, the service, the food, the fun. Hi, this is Bob Prosser, owner of Ishnala Supper Club in Wisconsin Dells. I've been a part of Ishnala since 1973, and I am so proud to continue the tradition that began in 1953. Why not enjoy a brandy old-fashioned in one of our bars, each with a spectacular view overlooking Mirror Lake? Or just relax before or after dinner on one of our outdoor decks. Our Ishnala chefs have prepared your favorites: 24-ounce ribeye, cold water lobster tails, North Atlantic salmon, and of course, Ishnala's roast duck. Thank you for making Ishnala Wisconsin's favorite supper club, where the only thing we overlook is Mirror Lake. I'm Bob Prosser, and I want to serve you.
It doesn't get any headlines just to be silently good. Big Fish Contracting, we say renovating homes, redeeming an industry.
It's so much more than just, okay, we're replacing your roof.
We're not only educating homeowners, but we're getting to know them and allowing them an opportunity to get to know us. I mean, there's just such beauty in it, you know? If anyone is considering reaching out to us,
or you can check us out on our website, bigfishcontracting.com.
At Hazelden Betty Ford, treating mental health isn't just about breaking old patterns, it's about braving new ones. As the leader in alcohol and drug treatment for 75 years, we know caring for addiction, anxiety, depression, and trauma goes hand in hand. We're here for you with new tools when life breaks down. Discover your path to better mental health at hazeldenbettyford.org/Wisconsin. Sponsored by Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation.
Richard Marx Uline Warehouse Stage on Friday number 3 of Summerfest. That's a 9:30 start for Richard Marx. If some of the more raucous music of the evening's a little too much for you, some easy listening gets filtered in there. By the way, another reminder, noon to 6 today at Henry Meyer Festival Park, courtesy of Quick Trip. Everyone gets in for free on this 4th of July. On the first 5,000 entrants to the gate will get a commemorative can cooler. That is your giveaway update for today on this Friday, 4th of July Summerfest Day. It's 8:32, and from the WTMJ Breaking News Center, here's Elizabeth Lintonen.
Thanks, Adam. We're continuing to follow the shooting from Thursday. One suspect is dead after a shooting with police. Police officers were searching for the suspect in Shorewood after a homicide left one dead on early Wednesday morning. Officers located the suspect and vehicle pursuit took place where the suspect driver shot at the pursuing officers. The pursuit ended near Reservoir Avenue and Dr. William Finlayson Street, where a shootout between officers and the suspect continued. The suspect, an adult male, was shot by officers and died of his injuries. The investigation is ongoing. A Waupun man charged with animal cruelty has died. 55-year-old Richard Van Buren was accused of hanging a stray golden retriever with a leash. He was charged with 1 count of mistreatment of animals, a felony that carries a maximum sentence of 3.5 years in prison. He also served as chairman of the Chestertown Board. According to his obituary, Van Buren died Tuesday due to complications during surgery. The case will most likely be dismissed. And one Milwaukee baker makes cakes for the Summerfest headliners, including last night's Benson Boone. Owner of Whisk Chick Cake Studio in Milwaukee, MK Drana, tells WTMJ.
I've been doing this full-time for about 4 years now. Yeah, so definitely still the beginning stages, even though it feels like, a lifetime at this point, to be honest. But working with Summerfest has been huge. I mean, such a Milwaukee staple to have that kind of credibility to add to my roster of fun projects and fun companies I've worked with locally because I just love Milwaukee so much.
She has also made cakes for many other headliners at this year's Summerfest, including Hosier. Taking a look at your roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We're looking all clear, no major incidents and no major delays.
Acumen Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
Don't settle for a flimsy bank pre-approval. Get the pre-approval listing agents and sellers recognized as better than the rest. The rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from AccuNet. Get yours by clicking on the blue button at accunet.com.
Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Today, morning rain and storms, then hot and humid, high of 88 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, hot, humid, breezy with a chance of storms at night, high of 93. Sunday, scattered showers and storms, high of 83 degrees. Monday, mostly sunny, high of 78. Tuesday, partly cloudy, pop-up storms, high of 83 degrees. Right now in Green Bay, it's 74 degrees. In Waukesha, it's 73. And in Milwaukee, it's 70 degrees. I'm Elizabeth Linton, and Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 8:35.
Coming up, there will be a parade in a northern Wisconsin community unless one person has any say. That's next.
Julie Granger is the president of Junior Achievement of Wisconsin. Julie, your organization has business technology from James Imaging Systems. Yet today, please tell us about Junior Achievement's unique mission.
Junior Achievement of Wisconsin has a mission of inspiring and preparing young people for success in a global economy. We serve students anywhere from kindergarten through 12th grade, and we just started serving young adults 18 to 25.
I understand financial literacy is also an important part of your mission.
Financial literacy is critical to the long-term success of every individual so that they can plan their futures and they can live their dreams.
To help turn those dreams into reality, how can everyone get involved?
We are looking for people who are willing to donate their time, treasure, and talent to the organization.
What's the first step?
The best way to reach us is through our website, wisconsin.ja.org.
James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
From those with no experience to firearms enthusiasts, all are welcome at Mission 94 Firearms Education Center. The staff is deeply committed to providing a welcoming and engaging environment for everyone at every level. Learn the right way to handle firearms, level up your skills, and experience replica firearms from different historical eras while learning about their role in protecting our freedoms throughout history. Visit veteran-owned and managed Mission 94 in Kenosha today. Check out the 5-star reviews. Just Google Mission 94.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. It's the best time of year in Wisconsin. It is summer, and it is on big time. We've got you covered. Still looking for some ways to fill in a couple of weekend days, maybe a quick vacation, a romantic getaway, or time with the family fun in Wisconsin. We've got you covered. It's Experience Wisconsin, Saturdays at 1 o'clock. This Saturday, it's Ishnala, the iconic supper club, and Ann Sayers, the travel secretary, talking beach getaways. Experience Wisconsin, Saturdays at 1 on 620 WTMJ.
Another late one for you at the Miller Lite Oasis stage. That's Social Distortion on weekend number 3 of Summerfest. Hey, coming up in a little bit, if you aren't going to be able to make it to Summerfest, you're out grilling today, and you still want a little bit of a musical addition to your Independence Day, our producer Isaac has some thoughts. We'll dive through his suggestions. That's coming up in just a few minutes. Wanted to follow up on the story we first reported here on WTMJ on Wednesday. Up in the community of Minocqua in northern Wisconsin, they have a parade scheduled for 4 this evening through the small tourist, largely community in that part of the state. And one individual who has had a lot of dust-ups in the community of late is planning to put a stop to the whole thing. This is the owner of Minocqua Brewing Company, Kirk Bangstad, who last weekend was involved in an incident with a man he's had a lot of tilts with over the years. The publisher of the Lakeland Times, his name is Greg Walker. These two have had tilts going back at least 5 years, stemming from when Walker had critical editorial treatments when Bangstad was running for state assembly. Bangstad, a devout member of the Democratic Party, owns Minocqua Brewing Company, which also brews several Democratic-themed beers. He also has the NBC Super PAC as well. Well, as part of that incident, Bangstad was arrested, was charged with multiple misdemeanors, bail set at $2,500, and is now out of jail. And now is planning to protest, or in the words of Bangstad on his page, peacefully shut down the Minocqua 4th of July parade. Now, we have reached out to the Minocqua Police Department. They're very aware that this is a potential issue. They have a presence. They did note it's not in relation to any specific matter, just that, you have to have a presence at a parade. That is just an unfortunate reality of where things sit now. But they will have a presence and they will be monitoring things. It does seem like a bit of a reach, personally, to be trying to stop a whole parade, but in the words of Bangstad, he wants to send a message to those who had arrested him and says defamed him during the situation last weekend. This seems to be an ongoing issue in the community that doesn't really seem to have an end in sight. He has said and reached out to members of Oneida County that if they agree to a couple of things with him, he will call the protest off. As of today, that has not happened, according to Bangstad. So for all intents and purposes, the plan is still on, and it's a situation we will be monitoring in Minocqua later this weekend. It's 8:40 on WTMJ. We've got some musical recommendations for your 4th of July cookout. That's next.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here. How's the knee feeling? Still bothering you? Or the back? Is the back still barking like ever? Is it bad enough where you're not even enjoying the summer because you're not doing what you want to do because of the achy joint pain? You're stuck. And now you're hearing, maybe you're going to need surgery. Well, maybe not. You really should try calling QC Kinetics, the leaders in regenerative medicine. QC Kinetics uses treatments like advanced cellular therapy and platelet-rich plasma, all designed to actually help your body heal itself. No knife, no drugs, no downtime, and no masking of the pain. It's at least worth calling for a second opinion. Call QC Kinetics today. It's 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Meet with the team and let them explain firsthand how QC Kinetics can help you enjoy your summer. 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics today.
Count on Fleet Farm to have all your fishing needs covered, from lures to licenses to live baits and more. Get an Abu Garcia Max SX spinning reel, sale priced at $49.99. Shakespeare Salamander rod and reel combos are only $14.99. And all Northland tackle spinner and buzz baits are now 20% off. Snag the gear you need at the best prices guaranteed at Fleet Farm. And check out even more great weekly deals at fleetfarm.com.
At Gruber Law Offices, we've helped tens of thousands of families after a serious accident. Our priority has always been our clients. We're here for you whenever you may need us. One call, that's all.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
Fuzzy Surf, Briggs and Stratton stage, the Big Backyard. That's a 4 o'clock show for your Friday Summerfest scheduling plans. Noon to 6, by the way. Everyone gets in free to Henry Meyer Festival Park today. That bump back courtesy of our producer Isaac, who's with me today. And we have a bit of a tradition on WTMJ. We started a while ago for various holidays. If you need a little bit of a soundtrack to your outdoor activities, to your cookout, or if it's a colder month, to your Christmas present unwrapping or what have you, we've usually compiled together a musical playlist for everyone to enjoy, and Isaac has helped out a bit and crafted a little bit of a list for us this year. Let's walk through it, Isaac, because you were telling me there's different layers to the playlist this year.
Yes, it's a 4-layer dip of playlist for you.
Gotcha.
So, first off, I want to start by asking, are you familiar with the music critic Stephen Hayden?
I am, since you told me about him earlier today.
Okay, so he was born in the Appleton area, graduated from UW-Eau Claire. I think for a while he lived in Milwaukee. He now lives in Minneapolis, works in Minneapolis. But he has a sort of philosophy of a certain style of music he calls patio music. That is... It's kind of all based around vibes, you know? It's music for when you're chilling on the porch on a summer evening with a beer and a hot dog. Like, that's just kind of the vibe. And that's sort of what I based these selections off of.
All right, let's run through it.
Yeah. So my first category, we've got bands that played Summerfest that, you either did go see or maybe you missed. Like this first one, MJ Lenderman. Doesn't that make you want a hot dog?
Actually, it makes me want to crack open a cold one.
Well, yeah, absolutely. That's what I think too. Okay, we've also got Rat Boys, Chicago, James Taylor, the Lumineers, a little stomp and holler for you. Hozier and Gigi Perez, who shared a bill on the big stage there. Third Eye Blind, Fountains of Wayne, The Head and the Heart, and a band called Wishy, who my band opened for back in December. Great band, very nice people, very nice addition to your 4th of July playlist, in my opinion.
Good inclusion of Third Eye Blind. I feel like Summerfest should now be dubbed Summerfest, presented by Third Eye Blind, because I feel like they play either every other year or every year on one of the stages.
I support that. You have my endorsement.
All right, what else we got?
Yes, my second category is local bands who played Summerfest this year. So just a few of them. Ben Milwana, who is he's originally from Africa. He now lives in Milwaukee, and he makes folk rock music that is really cool. We talked to him on WTMJ Conversations a while ago. Very nice, very interesting guy. Beautiful voice, beautiful music. Brett Newski.
Of course.
Yes, we all know Brett Newski, Milwaukee purveyor of modern 90s rock. Fuzzy Surf, who we bumped in with.
Sure.
They've got a fuzzy, surfy sound that I think goes
I would
well
certainly
with,
hope so.
Yeah, grilling meats. The Guffs, obviously. How could you possibly forget the Guffs? And then I also think local alt-country outfit Ladybird would be a good addition.
Local alt-country is such a weird genre to say out loud.
Yeah, but, Ladybird, great band, great music, great for grilling and beers. My third category is local bands who did not play Summerfest this year, but who I still think would be a good addition to your playlist. We've got local power pop group Telethon, who have played Summerfest in the past, didn't this year, but, very upbeat, bouncy, good time music. Doubter, who are very much in the vein of Fountains of Wayne, that kind of power pop sort of deal.
Just no mention of Stacy's mom in any of their lyrics.
No, not in theirs. And then the local indie rock band Known Moons, I think, is a great
I think I
inclusion
saw
as well.
them hanging out one time outside of Vegas Pub. I don't know if they were actually performing or just were hanging out on the corner bar in River West.
It's quite possible. My final category I have for you is Canadian bands. There's two of them.
Whoa. Why?
Because, the first one is really the main kind of reason that I have this category at all. It's a band called Japandroids, who, if anyone knows Japandroids, They're like the most American that a Canadian band could sound.
An American sounding band from Canada named Japan Droids.
Oh yeah, I mean, does this not
They
sound
have
like...
tri-citizenship.
Yes. Does this not sound like fireworks and beer to you?
Just don't mention to Uncle Larry they're Canadian, and I think we'll be fine.
Well, and then, of course, since it's you and me here today, you know we got to have Rush.
Oh, of course.
Yes. How many hot dogs can you eat during the course of 2112?
21 hot dogs,
There
probably.
you go.
Or maybe 12. I don't know.
There it is. So that's just a few bands that I think would be a good addition to any 4th of July barbecue chill time playlist.
Awesome. And if you missed out on any of those suggestions, we'll have the podcast up later today, and we'll get you that full rundown in case you missed any. So you can plan your cookout and your grillins and your walk-ins arounds with some good music tuning into your ear. It's 8:47, a little late for sports, but we'll get to it in just a minute.
Happy 4th of July from the Amazing Mine Shaft Family Restaurant in Hartford. WTMJ's John Mercure here. Celebrate America at the Mine Shaft. They're open today at 10:30 a.m. on the 4th of July, so don't turn on your oven. Enjoy a super affordable lunch or dinner at the All-American Mine Shaft Restaurant. The Friday, all-you-can-eat haddock fish fry is just $7.99, and it's a great fish fry. Desserts are buy one, get one free. Enjoy a huge 18-inch pizza, a pitcher of beer or soda, and 100 game room tokens to the world-class game room for under $45. The pizza easily feeds a family of 4, and your kids will love that world-class game room set away from the dining area. Celebrate the 4th today in the cool and comfortable Mine Shaft Restaurant with your $7.99 all-you-can-eat haddock fish fry kids menu from $3.99. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and just off the interstate in Oshkosh. Walk in today. Celebrate America. MineShaftRestaurant.com. Check out the Mine Shaft.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The Brewers are down in Florida today. They open up a series with an Independence Day tilt against the surging Miami Marlins. We'll have coverage for you right here on WTMJ starting at 5 with Brewers warm-up and our own Dominic Cotroneo. If you're looking for something a little bit more earlier in the day, it is the 4th of July, and people keep asking Joey Chestnut if he is back in the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest later today. And before now, he hasn't really had an answer. But now, yeah.
I'm thinking I'm back.
Joey Hot Dogs with his triumphant return to the Coney Island event, this after a 1-year out period due to a contract dispute, did an interview with ESPN's Jeremy Schaap, which I will say is the most formal interview I've ever seen with someone who eats tons and tons of hot dogs for a living. Chestnut sharing with Schaap what motivates him after he's won this thing 16 times.
At first, it was purely just competition. And I still love the competition. I love beating the heck out of people. And now it's, dude, it's more about like making other people happy. And they want to see me make a record. And it's like, that motivates me. Like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna be pushing for a record.
Chestnut definitely has an air about him. I think people got a little tired with the Tom Brady success and all the rings he had in the NFL. With Joey Chestnut, it's all about the records, man. If he can eat 80 hot dogs this year, or even just break his old record, of course, everyone's going to want to cheer for that even number. That place is going to be hooting and hollering out on Coney Island today. Well, you can get coverage on ESPN starting at 9:45. The women's competition opens things up then, and then the men take the stage about an hour after that. Coming up on 8:51 here on WTMJ, we'll wrap it up for you after this.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Hi, I'm Eric Brown, owner of Outdoor Living Unlimited.
Outdoor Living Unlimited is Wisconsin's #1 TimberTech decking installer. We install anything decks and more. Stop by Outdoor Living Unlimited showroom and visit OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring great tips on how to operate your home. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Many woes likely for the Alex Warren Show tonight at the U.S. Cellular Connection stage at Summerfest. That's a 10:30 show tonight for Alex Warren. We've got plenty of action at Summerfest this evening on this weekend number 3, the final of the 3-weekend format for the fest at Henry Meyer Festival Park. Reminder again, noon to 6 today, free admission courtesy of Quick Trip. First 5,000 attendees also through the gates today will receive a commemorative can cooler. That's courtesy of Quick Trip. And then noon to 6 is that free admission period. It is a 4th of July Friday. Real quick check of your WTMJ forecast for today. The good news is a lot of the rain we had earlier this morning that may have woken you up, that seems to have moved out of the Milwaukee area. Our southern counties still getting a little bit of rain. It could impact some of those early morning festivities happening in communities today. Just be mindful of that. Double check beforehand. Don't find yourself out at an event wondering why no one's there if it's been canceled due to weather. But we should be drying out here within the next hour or so. There are a couple of pop-up storms I'm seeing on the radar. Looks like a few of them just flared up just south of Beaver Dam in Dodge County. So be mindful. We had Storm Team 4 meteorologist Brendan Johnson on earlier and said that this is summertime, so that can happen. And just maybe bring an umbrella with you if you're heading out to a parade or to your local cookout or fireworks show later today. Of course, there's a lot going on across the southeast Wisconsin area. If you don't have any 4th of July plans, if you missed the drone show last night on the lakefront and are still jonesing for some fireworks displays, plenty of them all across southeast Wisconsin. Basically, if you have a community, they're going to have a fireworks show tonight, including in Milwaukee. Several of the county parks, including Alcott, Gordon, Humboldt, Jackson, Lake, Lincoln, Mitchell, Noyes, Washington, and Wilson all have fireworks displays around 9:15 this evening. So if you missed the drone show or you didn't go out of solidarity with your fireworks-loving friends, there's plenty to be found, both sanctioned and unsanctioned, of course, throughout the evening tonight. It may be a bit rainy in Greendale right now, but they are undergoing, as of this hour, the reading of the Declaration of Independence. If that's more your style, you can check that one out. I'll also throw this one out there if you're in the city of Milwaukee. It's something I've grown really fond of over the last few years. In the River West neighborhood, they do their annual bike parade to Gordon Park, which starts on, I believe it is, I want to say, Clark Street, and then they ride down Humboldt towards the park. All the kids get to decorate their bicycles up, and there's hundreds of these bikes that ride on down. So if you want to check that out, it's a really fun event. And then, of course, Gordon Park has a lot going on for the 4th of July in general. We'll leave you here with this on Wisconsin's Morning News. When I first started at WTMJ and I worked on Wisconsin's afternoon news, I remember producing our first 4th of July adjacent show, and John Mercure was telling me, hey, Adam, make sure we find a spot for the Ragged Old Flag reading. And I didn't really understand the significance of it at the time, but as I've heard it over the last few years, I know it's become a tradition around this time of year, whether it's a Veterans Day holiday, Memorial Day, or 4th of July. So I wanted to make sure that we got that in for you today. Here is Johnny Cash reading us out with Ragged Old Flag. Happy 4th, everyone.
I walked through a county courthouse square. On a park bench, an old man was sitting there. I said, "Your old courthouse is kind of run down." He said, "No, it'll do for our little town." I said, "Your old flagpole has leaned a little bit, and that's a ragged old flag you got hanging on it." He said, "Have a seat," and I sat down. "Is this the first time you've been to our little town?" I said, I think it is. He said, I don't like to brag, but we're kind of proud of that ragged old flag. You see, we got a little hole in that flag there when Washington took it across the Delaware. And it got powder burned the night that Francis Scott Key sat watching it write and say, can you see? And it got a bad rip in New Orleans with Pakenham and Jackson tugging at its seams. And it almost fell at the Alamo beside the Texas flag, but she waved on, though. She got cut with a sword at Chancellorsville, and she got cut again at Shiloh Hill. There was Robert E. Lee, Beauregard, and Bragg, and the south wind blew hard on that ragged old flag. On Flanders Field in World War I, she got a big hole from a Bertha gun. She turned blood red in World War II. She hung limp and low a time or two. She was in Korea, Vietnam. She went where she was sent by her Uncle Sam. She waved from our ships upon the briny foam, and now they've about quit waving back here at home. In her own good land here, she's been abused. She's been burned, dishonored, denied, and refused. And the government for which she stands is scandalized throughout the land. And she's getting threadbare and she's wearing thin, but she's in good shape for the shape she's in. 'Cause she's been through the fire before. And I believe she can take a whole lot more. So we raise her up every morning. We take her down every night. We don't let her touch the ground, and we fold her up right. On second thought, I do like to brag, 'cause I'm mighty proud of that ragged old flag.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Steve and Ashley heard our radio ads over the years, and when it came time to buy their first home, they